Go ahead.
Yes, very good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Very good afternoon, ma'am. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Insane this year. Thank you for asking. How about you doing today?
I am absolutely good and fit and fine. And being a mother, it is very productive and as well as the busiest routine of mine. Thank you for being on my channel. As I saw your video, your experience and your conversational style just amazed me that how you were carrying your conversation because everyone knows the word, but how to utilize the word in an appropriate way is remarkable by your side. So thank you so much for being with me on my channel.
Yeah, pleasure is all mine. I'm looking for having a wonderful talk and learn from your experience as well. Yeah,
Okay, I since we are meeting for the very first time, I would like to have a short, crisp introduction of yours.
sure. So, hello everyone. Anshuman this side. I closely work with people who know what to speak but really struggles to depict themselves in public confidently. So, from last 2.5 years, I'm just helping individuals to depict themselves more confidently in public because my core belief is simple that if someone can communicate effectively, they grow personally, professionally, socially, and emotionally. And that's what I'm bringing through my YouTube videos. I'm helping individuals to do the same thing. So over last 2.5 years, I've helped more than 150 or almost the range of 500 individuals to gain this confidence because my core belief is simple. If I can do that, why cannot others? So that's pretty much about me.
That is excellent about you, and I want to know that how a person can have natural pauses in between conversation. Because sometimes we pause a lot, sometimes we do not pause. We just speak like a machine. So how we can have a natural rhythm in our conversation? Because this pause is very much necessary, and you have this absolute pause. You can say the rhythm, and I want to know about this. Have you mastered it, or it is in your nature?
No, nothing was in the nature since the early days because we have learned those things by practice, practice, and practice, and by certain repetition, maybe by giving our feedback after watching my own videos, after getting certain feedbacks that I sort of started without having any preparation. I was taking unnecessary pauses. Some of the taking, I was taking too many pauses. Some of the taking, I was still feeling that I'm not even taking pauses, going like bullet train. So by certain repetition, I figured out one way, even that is also being told by a lot of good podcaster too, that there are two ways to take pauses. First, which is very essential. Once every sentence is going to be end, so there you give time to other individual to listen or to comprehend what did you say, and this is more natural way to take pause. So if I'll take pause once, maybe I just wanted other to comprehend what did I say about, that is very good method. And second, some of the time I find very difficult to get certain words at a certain time, so consciously I take pause there to hide my maybe weakness, you can say, or maybe because I was using earlier filler words like or like. Anyways, I'm trying to reduce those two, and I have done this conscious practice from last 6 months, so some of the time I'm using the pauses as well. Yeah.
Yes, and it is very good thing that you have mastered this skill because until and unless we give opportunity to the other candidate, how can we know their opinion? And it looks that we are talking in a one way. This is not
Correct.
one-on-one conversation. It is only a conversation based on one person's experience and natural exposure. And the other person who is just listening and who is needs a balanced approach of two persons. Because
Correct.
sometimes we don't agree with someone, so we have to listen and we have to know about their own opinion. So it is very good thing that we have to pause and we have to give just other person a chance to just speak about our things. So very good thing it is about. And one more thing is that you are speaking in a very good way. So how did you master this skill?
Hmm. Hope I'm audible and visible because, ma'am, your video is quite freezing a lot.
Any time duration which you have mastered during that you have mastered our an internet connection error.
Yeah, I'm getting it a little difficult to hear your voice
So
frequently because I'll have to predict some of the time what you're talking about. Now it is
much to
better. Now it is better. Yeah. So yeah, got your question that how did I master this conversational skill? Was that question or was it different?
uh, we should proceed with the same question. Should I ask, repeat the same question and then I would edit?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Because I didn't get the whole question. I really don't wanted to give any of the generic answer.
Okay, I wanted to know about your journey. How did you master this language? Because everyone has a specific journey. I have mastered. I know this language. I have some different journey, and you must have some different journey.
Correct.
And
Correct.
sometimes when we share our journey, it becomes a source of inspiration for so many English learners, and
Exactly.
they can just imitate the style, the journey, the technique, whatever we have just experienced. So I would really like to know about your experience and your journey, and as well as your technique.
Sure. Sure. So even I like to talk about my journey because that's where mostly people can resonate with. They can feel very likable. I have shared with a lot of times, and I often like to share it with how many times I get the exposure. So the journey started with a very good story, wherein the boy like me have completed all my schooling from UP board since I natively come from UP near about Ayodhya district Sultanpur. I have completed all my schooling till my 12th from my state board, that is UP board, and I'm privileged enough to just get all my education there because there I got very good exposure to know the grammatical portion of English language. Though I was not being exposed to speak much, but I didn't feel bad about that because I was able to do translation very fast. And there is one interesting thing that I could able to do translation so fast that some of the time in my 12th, I do remember the teachers were telling the things to write on notebook on Hindi, but I could able to lively translate into English and I was jotting down all those things in English. So I was good at translation just because I was coming from that background. Now, the story begins once I entered into my computer science engineering by my graduation. I have computer science engineering degree, which I have done 1 year back. Then, in the college, we are having one very common language to pursue, that is English. We don't have any option, especially for engineering, to just pursue it in Hindi. Then I thought, okay, I was very good. I mean, more than average scholar. I was having enough confidence because I was scoring well. I thought the people around me were introducing, and the day first of college is being introductory day. We'll have to have a pressure to get introduced by everyone else. Having said that, having a good friendship and other stuff, I thought, okay, Anshuman, you also take a chance because you are a very good scholar. You have done a great job in 10th and 12th. You got a very good marks. You can take a try. Though you haven't exposed this English spoken, and I just stood up. I literally, that is one of the embarrassing day of my life ever. But thanks to that, that's why I turned and started looking back into this, that now I'm being here. So I stood up, my heart were pondering. I was literally sweating. And you won't believe, ma'am, that I was not even able to introduce myself. And people around me were like kind of giving me sympathy. And Shuman, don't worry. Like, I understand that you come from there. Maybe with the time you'll learn this. But that sympathy even got stuck me. I took it in reverse way. Why people are just sympathizing me? Somehow, once we have this thing in ourselves, we lack something, we started taking the things negatively. And anyways, I took it positively. I just went home. I thought, leave the engineering for now. And Shuman, master this English spoken thing first. So from day one, I was very clear about my goal of mastering this language. Even that was not the communication, that was just spoken English because I literally wanted to speak at English from day one. And now, as being a computer science student, we do have a tendency, once we have any question, we do go and first on Google and search, hey, tell me that how do I master this language? I came back to my room, hostel room, I searched on YouTube, and I do remember for 6 months to a year, I was searching on YouTube, tell me that how do I master this language within 1 day or maybe 20 days. I was watching every video with a good thumbnail saying you can master this language within 10 days. So obsessively. I won't say that was a waste of the time. I learned something, but that was not structural. Later onwards, I realized one thing, that everything we should learn from fundamental. Hope I'm audible, ma'am. Can you hear me? Because your video is still now got frozen. So, ma'am, that was the time once I realized that Anshuman, I do need to have to work on this spoken English from day one of college. And I didn't do anything exceptional as people used to do, go and search on Google. I did that. And for 6 months, I was watching any of the random videos on YouTube saying that learn this language faster, maybe from the 6 month or 2 months of the period of time. That I couldn't say that was wastement of time, though I learned a lot of good tips and tricks, but not in a directional way. So I thought, why not to go and learn this language from fundamental? Then I got to know about this LSR Labdulu, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And I do remember for 6 or more than a year, I try to balance at least three pillars. I was good at reading. I started reading books around my own interest because I'm interested in technology, human psychology, business, and a little bit of communicational improvement. So that was the kind of book I was reading. I got very good knowledge from there. The speaking was not there. Writing, I started maintaining my journal weekly, and then listening, I was very intrigued to listen the things because that's where I get a lot of good words. And how do I use it? Where do I use it? Body gesture and a lot of things I learned from there. But after 1.5 years, I do experience one thing that I was lacking. I was not making that good progress as much I was putting efforts. Then I again look back to me what is missing wrong. And I do remember that was the time even I was just scrolling a YouTube video regards, and that quote, that video talked about that if you really wanted to better at something, do that thing repetitively. I look back in my experience, I said, I literally wanted to better at speaking. I didn't speak much. I have did everything around this. It is something like if somebody comes to me and asks me, Anshuman, tell me how do I swim? I tell them go and watch videos of swimming. I tell them go and watch, maybe read books of swimming, but we'll have to get into the water. So that's why the real journey had started. I took the stand. I joined an application called Ace Fluency. Shout out to Ace Fluency. I used that application from last 2.5 years for free. I spend more than half an hour every day without fail. Doesn't matter whether I was busy here and there. So that's where I got this confidence in me. Now I can talk. In between, I just initiated my YouTube channel, and that was the one of the best thing I have done because that's where I got. So far, I have interacted with more than thousands of individuals one to one, maybe from camera, through all those things. So by repetition, by going to the fundamental repetition of my own self and seeing what is missing wrong, really helped me to save my journey. And that was my all about the experience in this language.
Excellent, excellent, I would say. And the most triggering point for me is that the sympathy are the reaction of the people that always shape the history of a nation, the history of the person. Because as I can relate, I do have some circumstances where you have the reaction of sympathy and the words. I did have the words which shaped me what I am really now. So the sympathy people are showing outwardly, but inwardly we feel that these remarks are the negative remarks, and these are just like shaping our history and shaping our nature, and these should be the part and parcel of everyone, because if they are not there, we cannot shape ourselves, we cannot make name, we cannot even struggle. And you mastered and you just struggled a lot and you watched a lot of YouTube videos, and this is the whirlpool where every English learner is just stuck. Why he is stuck? Because he is just lingering about how to master this skill in 21 days, 30 days, 1 year, six
True.
months, and he is just watching one video after the other, and the practical part is missing, and that is speaking. And you realized in your life that I am doing best by reading, by writing, and what is missing? The speaking part is missing, and you track your progress. That is the best thing, because if you didn't track your progress, you would have done the same thing again and again, and the
True.
progress would be on the same level. And this is the best thing. The first English learner, and every person, whether he is a student, whether he is an English learner, whether he is a common person
Correct.
everywhere, he should not take negative remarks to their hearts. They should be always there with you in your some part of your heart, but they should always say you that you have to prove something good. If they are saying this, you have to go to the opposite side, because if you go to the same direction, you would be ridiculed every time. But
Correct.
every person, I have listened so many stories of successful stories by successful people. They always say that some words were there, some reactions were there, some people were there, some circumstances were there. So I can definitely say that it is the environment. These are the people, these are the words, these are the remarks, these are the criticisms. These are actually motivation. We are seeking for
Correct.
motivation that I can do better, I can learn better, I can improve
Correct.
better. No, they cannot have such effect, such impact on our personality as the impact of these words. So
100%.
uh, remarkable,
And I would
remarkable.
like to
So
even know
I would,
your journey. I'm sorry to just interrupt you here. Since you mentioned something
yes.
which really I was getting into, and the things or the journey has already been started from many of, like me, maybe an embarrassing story, maybe such an intrigue reaction from any of the learners or maybe any of the colleagues from your. So do you have also the similar kind of story? I would like to know a little bit of your story, your background story, because today I'm just seeing yourself so confidently teaching to the people, asking very thoughtful question, engaging into the conversation, but I would like to know the backstage story too.
Thank you so much for asking. And this is the real story, and this is the story which always lies in between or in my heart. Always, I remember. I still remember. I can just close my eyes and I can visualize the same words. I can just hear the words. Even the person is no more. Even the circumstances are no more. But when I close my eyes, I am in that state again. So that is the story when I got admission. I was going to get admission in the college. So I belong to a rural area, and I topped my class and my school at 10th grade, and my father was very ambitious to get me admitted in the college. But one of my father's aunt, not my aunt, my father's aunt, she just said, literally, she just said, she approached, she, rather than congratulating on my success and all that and well wishes, she just said that in Punjabi, she said that अगर तुसी कॉलेज भेजिया लड़कियां भज जांदी girls are allowed, girls are allowed, and if you send your girl to a college she will allow with someone. Those were the specific words which I can just hear right now. So when I heard those words, they trigged me a lot. Now I just decided to make my name in the society. So when I, for the very first time, I entered the college gate, I just resolved that I would do everything to make name for my father, for my family, and for myself. So when the result of FA was declared, I was the topper and I was the scholarship holder of the college. And again, when the result of BA was announced, I was a topper and scholarship holder of the college again. I was the writer and editor of the college, and I won two competitions, one at divisional level, the second one at Punjab provincial level, hosted by Punjab government. I was given a 2 day stay at Carlton Tower Hotel and hosted by the government of Punjab and so many other achievements. I became a gold medalist in history. I done my master's in English. So the same lady, the same aunt sent her daughters to me for education, and she always said that to her granddaughters that this your puppo is very excellent and you have to be like your puppo. She is a role model in our family, for our family,
Lovely.
for our village, for everything. And I used to laugh, I used to smile without words. So everyone has, and everyone should have such kind of words which can shape your name and your name for your family and for yourself. But you should have to remember, you should not have to just uh, feel those words as a negative way. If
Correct.
I would have burdenized myself with those words, that what should I do? The aunt is saying right. If should I go to the college? Should I not go to the college? If I was stuck with those words, I should not have done anything. But thanks to the aunt, I always thank to the aunt in my words that due to those words, my resolution, my determination, my struggle never diminished. And I
Correct.
am still having my tiny channel, and I am educating to the kids. I am running. I have also joined an institute, convent institute, whose branches are in 27 or 28 countries. So thanks to that, aunt.
Lovely. I like the mindset. I believe this is one of the very common trait in all those success people in all those different areas, that they do have this rigid mindset They never played victim mentality. They take the stand. They know where they are lagging, and they're ready to prove, and they're ready to put whatever it takes. And I believe you have already made them proud, and you just become one of the example. Rather just giving the example, you become the example, and that is one of the best stories I have ever listened. Thank you for the sharing, Bessie.
Another point is that after marriage, for 6 to 7 years, I remained like an ordinary woman, doing nothing, just having my kids. So people used to scroll, and people used to scroll when they are in anxiety, when they are in
Correct.
depression or anything. I used to sleep. Whenever I had time, I used to sleep in order to escape from the reality. Then for the very first time when I go went just to get my son admitted in a school, then that principal just asked me what you have done. I just told him everything. Then he just said, what you are doing right now? And I said nothing. I just said nothing. And he was surprised, doing nothing, done everything, now nothing. So I just joined Bahria Foundation College as a head of department in English and history. Now my son is also a debater and a speaker at district level. And my daughter is also a debater and speaker. So they are doing great. So this is my achievement. Now I am unstoppable. Everything is now settled now.
Perfect, perfect. And you would be the one of the best inspiration for your children. I believe this is one of the best way even the children can look up to their mother or maybe the father, that if she can do this, she is so remarkable putting her efforts even in this age. Why can't we? That is really amazing.
Sometimes network becomes challenging is when I am going to host a meeting, when I am going to host any meeting, my network becomes a challenge for me every time. And I just smile to myself, oh, still I have challenges, still I have challenges, but somehow I manage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it. But anyway, ma'am, I really enjoy the topic with you, and I didn't feel that we have already been talked for more than 20 minutes. Now I'm getting notification from Zoom that will happen. And I believe this is the harmony of real stories. Once we embrace the stories, we actually feel that where we are coming from. People can connect well. I have seen people telling me that Anshuman, because I believe you have gone through with the same circumstances. If you can do that, why can't I? And I believe this is also goes with your same story. There are a lot of homemakers these days I have got opportunities to talk with. They are putting very good efforts to just make their life, to just take their own stand. They're learning this language by putting their hearts and soul. So I believe you can be also one of the inspiration for them as well. So I really, really like the talk and the way you said your insight. You asked thoughtful question. I'm getting inspiration from you as well, that I got so many things to learn by you in terms of this
Thank you so
never
much.
quitting attitude, right? Which eventually people lack these days. Even youngsters says, "Hey, what do I do next? I'm like feeling nothing. Why do I do anything?" And I would just definitely give your example to them. Watch the channel, you'll get a lot of motivation from.
Thank you so much for having me, for being the part of this conversation. I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed your confidence level, your body language. Extremely, they are synchronized. They were in total harmony with each other, and the effort I can visualize from your body language for your spoken English. That how much dedication, how much confidence, how much effort you have put to be a part of this to this level. So thank you so much. I am looking forward to have many more conversations on specific topics so that we can deeply go into the things so that we can explore new things. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Same here, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me here. I really enjoyed this conversation. Looking forward for many more conversations. Bye bye. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.